So here we are with extra time, wading our way through the leftovers. We go. It's taking its toll. I got to tell you.
You must have some of
I know you.
It's really taking a toll.
You keep bringing it up.
You keep
bringing up them leftovers.
Turkey soup, turkey sandwiches.
I went in that gym today, and my God, it was not how it should have been. Put it that way.
You were in the gym.
Yeah, that's what the gym said.
The gym almost.
The gym's like, what are you doing?
Me
What are you doing in here?
I love how you try.
Yeah.
You did not go to the gym today, did you?
I actually did.
I saw him in the gym today.
I have
Oh, the
proof.
gym here at work.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw him.
Snuck in there
Yeah.
very quickly. It was a brief visit.
What was he
Very
dressed
brief.
like?
I
A
don't know.
gym person? A normal person?
Yeah, well, yeah.
No. Did he have like a headband around his head?
Stuart is with us, a man who's always in the
Yes.
gym. In fact, I don't think you even need to go to the gym to look svelte, do you, Mr. Robson? Just have that natural...
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
I don't know if it's accurate,
I've
but...
been in the gym every morning over Christmas. Every morning over Christmas.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Me too, Stu. Yeah. Okay.
Tia wants to know, Stuart, we'll start with you. What should Pep focus on? Crawling his way back into the title challenge or making the Champions League priority number one?
He's got to do both. You can't just prioritise one. He's got to try and win the Champions League because that's what Manchester City expect, but they also expect to win the title. And he's got a team good enough to do it. He's got to make sure that he gets that back four or back three, whatever he wants to play with, more solid and play with more consistency. He's got to get other players back fit and firing on all cylinders, like Aguero, like De Bruyne. And if he can do that, they've still got a chance of winning both.
When the Champions League rolls around, is that going to take over? Going to be priority number one?
No, I don't think so. And I think there's been a big issue at City with the club trying to convince the City fans that the Champions League is as important as the Premier League. And I think a lot of the City fans still prioritise the Premier League over European football. That being said, what I've seen recently from them kind of worries me in terms of 180 minutes against the top team, because it happened last year against Liverpool, and they just, when they're absolutely flying, something just happens and it just kills them. It just stops their momentum. That's what happened last year, and that's what's happened at the moment.
I think part of City's problem, Guardiola came out early on and said that this club is focused on the Champions League. And I just wondered if that kind of now offered the players a little bit of an excuse to lose focus. As we've seen, they've lost 3 in the last 4, and you don't expect that from City. Now, the bigger concern for me is you already have this gap between them and between City and Liverpool. Once the Champions League rolls around again, with your focus on that, can you claw back 6 points on Liverpool as they're playing now? You're asking for somebody to do favours.
Stuart, we saw some rumours linking Max Allegri and Manchester United earlier today. Question here, would you see Allegri and Ronaldo leaving Juventus for United if Juventus win the Champions League this season? Can you see it?
Allegri's been a very good manager. He did well at Milan, and he took on a difficult job at Juventus. They'd won the title 3 years on the trot. Antonio Conte was the manager, and he played a certain system, and it wasn't Allegri's system. He came in and changed it bit by bit, and changes from a back three to a back four. I think he's done a very good job at Juventus, and I could see him doing a good job at Manchester United, given the opportunity. I'm not sure Ronaldo would go with him, though.
No. Let's leave Ronaldo out of it. Allegri? Is he a fit at Old Trafford?
I don't think he would be first choice by a long stretch. Not because he's a bad manager, I just think because he's clearly not. But I think they would go down other avenues, whether it be Pochettino and Zidane or whoever. But I don't know. I don't know why he would want to leave a country where he's been so successful. And let's be frank, you match up the Juve squad, including the subs and from 1 to 20, and you match up Man United, and maybe kind of off-putting a little bit.
I think Allegri is a fantastic manager. He'll do a great job wherever he goes. I only see him leaving Juventus if they win the Champions League. So regardless of United's interest and what choice he is, unless Juventus win the Champions League, I don't see him leaving.
Sticking with United and leaving, should they consider getting rid of Lukaku if he doesn't improve this year?
Well, not until you have a ready-made replacement. Until you have somebody who can come in and score the goals that you need them to. But as of right now, you're not sure who that target is, whether they can attract that player or not. A lot will be determined by who the next manager is. But he is a proven goal scorer in the Premier League, just not maybe at the quality that United thought he was or expected him to be.
In the summer, yes.
Yeah.
And along with Alexis Sanchez, which is going to be a big problem for them because they could recoup some money on a transfer fee for Alexis Sanchez because they got him for nothing, but then trying to convince anybody to pay an absolutely astronomical wage bill is going to be a problem, and it might end up with United still, if he does leave, with them still paying a big portion of his wages going forward, even when he's playing for a new club. That's the position that they've put themselves in by paying this guy as much money as what they have, and also for anybody coming up for renewal is saying, well, listen, you're paying him X amount of money and he's hardly played a decent game, he's been on the bench or he's been unfit, and I'm in the first team every week and you want to pay me, what, a third or a half of what he's getting? It's a big problem for Man United.
Yeah. Stewart?
I would certainly try and keep Lukaku and try and improve him. I think he's a player that can be improved. If you work with him, put an arm around his shoulder, I think you can get the best out of him. Mourinho didn't do that in the last few months. I would still keep him. And I think you need, if you're going to want to challenge for the Champions League, you want to challenge for the Premier League, even if they go and get another forward, you need players that are going to come in and score goals. And Lukaku would do that even if he wasn't number one choice.
All right, one for Craig. You'll enjoy this from the case. Should David Moyes be given another chance in the Premier League or the Scottish Premier League any time soon?
Well, listen,
He's not that old, is he, Mr. Moyes?
no, and I think what happens here, and excuse me, I think it's happened with Mark Hughes as well. I think managers, they're so desperate to get back in that like everybody in life, they make bad decisions. And I think for David Moyes, taking the Sunderland job was a bad one. I think taking the job in Spain was a reaction. I think Mark Hughes himself is very similar. When he kept Southampton up, he should have walked away. But a manager always thinks he can take that team forward. So, David Moyes he's not the flavour of everybody, because of the way that he sets his team up. But he hasn't all of a sudden become a guy who managed for over a decade at Everton and did a particularly good job there. He hasn't all of a sudden become a terrible manager. Oh, and by the way, he did actually keep West Ham up, which was what he was brought in to do. But it won't be, he might have to go back to the Championship to manage and rebuild his reputation. But whatever he does, he has to make the right decision for the right club. Otherwise, he's drinking in the last chance saloon.
I think the challenge now with a number of clubs and for David Moyes is clubs are looking abroad for young managers who are going to get teams playing the kind of football that they want. And I think the league is now in a place where you don't have to be route one and physical as a newly promoted team to survive. You can go and play football. Teams have shown that and continue to show that this season. So it's a challenge to find who's a right fit for David Moyes at this point.
He had a decade of overachievement, really, at Everton, didn't he, Stuart? And that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I thought he was a good manager. I first came across him when I was at Wimbledon. We played Preston, and he was a good manager at Preston. He got them into the playoffs with a very small budget. He then did a good job at Everton. I'll just counteract against Craig's argument about taking the right job. Alan Kirbishley kept on saying, this job isn't quite right for me, I want to wait for the next big one. This job's not quite right for me, I want to wait till the right one comes along. I think he last managed in the Premier League about 12 years ago and his time has gone. Sometimes a manager who's failed has to take whatever job comes along just to get him back on track again.
Well, that is right, and because I actually worked with Alan Kirbishley before moving here, I worked for the Premier League's in-house channel with Alan. And he was in the frame for the Wolves job. This going back to around 2012, 2013. And he said to me, he was unsure.
Yeah.
He was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he didn't know what to do. And he actually said to me, "What do you think?" I said, "Alan, you got to go with your gut." And he decided, as Robbo said, he decided not to take that up because he thought it was too much of a risk.
Right.
And he hasn't got back in. So it is difficult for managers. But if you do take the wrong job, and you've got a rotten chairman, and you've got a rotten budget, and you've got a rotten squad, it's only going to end one way.
Some managers seem to be able to bounce back and get another job immediately, no matter what. Alan Pardew springs to mind, Sam Allardyce is
the retreads.
Yeah, but Moyes somehow doesn't seem to fit into that club.
Allardyce certainly is kind of, you're rooted to the bottom of the table and you need somebody to keep you up. Allardyce is the go-to guy. But then if you're thinking long term, Allardyce isn't everybody's cup of tea either. So he is a short-term fix. Now, again, to what you guys are saying is, does David Moyes see himself building a career as a short-term manager? Right. I'm not so sure that he does, or he should.
Listen, Big Sam can have June to January off every year now.
Yeah.
Semi-retirement. Wait till a couple of clubs are struggling in the Premier League and then parachute in, get a big bonus, keep them up, have another 6 or 7 months off and repeat. Right. It's good work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. All right, finally for today, I'm not quite sure what to make of this question. Flashy says, what would it take to get a lip sync battle between the FC personalities? Maybe there could be some friendly wagers that result in the losers doing a lip sync. Fantasy soccer punishment, maybe.
What do you mean by a lip sync battle?
Well, you know, I was hoping you were going to tell me, but...
I've seen that show once.
Yeah.
You kind of lip sync to, well, clearly, to songs.
To songs.
But you dress up and you give it the whole production and Stevie. That is right up Stevie's street.
Stevie
right up Stevie's street.
Win that competition hands down.
No problem.
We don't even need to run it.
Yeah. Nah.
Stewart?
Stevie won. Stevie won.
Stuart, I can see you doing a little London...
No, I can't really see myself. I might do a Sting or something like that. That's about all I could lip sync to. I can't see Craig doing it. I really can't.
Nah, horrible. I'm horrible.
I do a Bob Marley. Bob Marley's my go-to song for karaoke.
Nice. Just trying to picture Stuart doing a little message in the bottle there.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that.
Listen, if we get the words in sync in this show, we're doing well. So let's not push it too far. You know, I mean, this is probably coming out on your TV at a different time to what I'm actually saying. It's not quite synced right. So
yeah, it's a technical challenge at the best of times, isn't it? And on that high note, we will depart the scene.
We're back to the gym?
Yeah.
Back to the gym?
I need some more time.
Get ahead. Get the old armbands on.
Another 10 minutes.
Sweatbands.
Another 10 minutes. That's what I got. I know you're back tomorrow, Craig.
I am. That never stops.
Dan wrapping up all the Saturday action. You can see that on ESPN Plus as well.